Well, it's mid-November at the time I record this, and it's getting colder outside. And what that means is weird things sometimes happen with these Garmins. So this is how to fix it if it happens to not start or lock up entirely. It has everything to do with the power button, but not necessarily in the way that you would think. Now I'm using an older model here. This guy is the 2497, but this applies to all of them, even all the way back to the Nuvi 200 and even earlier than that. If you encounter a lockup or it won't start, okay. So, but what I'm going to do is concentrate on every model from about when this was made in 2014 to present, although this will work with older models too. Now with this one, if it just absolutely, actually I'll concentrate on the lockup part first. Let's just say it's not right now, but let's just say it was locked up. Ordinarily when you hold the power button for long enough, you get this. But let's just say that it's locked up so much that it won't even do that. Okay. First, make sure it is plugged in, as this one is now. And then just keep holding the power button for a long time until the screen blacks out like this. I'm holding the power button right now. Still holding, still holding, still holding, still holding, still holding. There, blacked out. Ooh, my screen is dusty. I gotta clean that. Ew, that is dustier than I thought. Okay, so if you're in this situation now and, okay, hit the power button, it should start, and it does. However, if this doesn't even happen, then you just keep holding it even longer until it eventually starts. And it will. It will just take a long time. So if I do this again, I'll just get to this screen. Stop. Right now. Okay. And press and hold. And I'm just going to keep holding it now. Screen's going to black out. And I'm still holding the power button. Okay, there it goes. And it should do that. But if the Garmin logo does not show up immediately, don't stop holding the button. Just keep holding it. Now, if it's one of those things where that is exactly what happens, and oh, actually no, this is what I wanted to say. Why have it plugged in? Why not just try it on battery? Well, if the battery is so run down that it has absolutely no charge left in order to start the unit, that is why you hold the power button. But let's just say you did all that and it still didn't work. Still didn't work. Okay. In that instance, you have to physically unplug it. And then, it sounds crazy, even if nothing happens, this is the process. You unplug it. Even if the battery is totally dead, you hold the power button for 30 seconds and then let go, then plug it back in, and then it should start. If it doesn't, then you press and hold that power button, and then it should finally start. And why does this happen at all? It is basically because Garmin puts weak batteries into basically everything, almost everything they've ever made, especially from 2014 to present. It's just a known thing with this. Now, if the unit, if all that does not fix it, for whatever reason, just does not fix it, the answer at that point is that the unit is either too cold or too hot. So in that instance, what you have to do is you have to take this and put it in the car and let it warm up. You don't put it in front of a heater or in front of, you don't put it in front of a vent for heat or for AC. You just put it on the passenger seat, let the interior of the car either warm up or cool down depending on what time of the year it is, and let the ambient temperature either cool it down or warm it up for about a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. Then you plug it, and by the way, yes, unplugged. Then you plug it in and you do all the stuff that I just said. And then it should finally start. And I know it's a lot to take in, so if you have to re-watch this to listen to all my instructions, believe me, I understand. And I just had this happen recently on my DriveSmart 66. Yes, I did. I get in the car, I always leave it plugged in. I get in the car, start the car, wouldn't start, wouldn't do it. So I had to take it off its mount, and I unplugged it and then plugged it back in and then held the power button and then force restarted it, and yeah, came right back on. No problem. Not with too much drama, but I was able to do it. So just because the screen doesn't come on doesn't mean that your Garmin is dead. It doesn't. You're just fighting an issue with a weak battery that it came with from the factory. It's unfortunately just the way it is, but that's how Garmin made them. So with all these steps, you should be okay. Oh, there's one final thing I should mention too. After, if it's one of those things where you've done everything I said and you have to let it either heat up or cool down via ambient temperature, once it is to ambient temperature, and you have to wait for this and not before, is that if it does start, but you get kind of a data problem where it's not reading the maps, then you power it off again, remove the memory card if one is present, and then click it back in and then restart it. That very rarely happens. Very rarely. Usually it is a result of a tiny bit of condensation on the contacts. It's either that or the spring, if it's one of those spring-loaded slots, holding it in due to the temperature. Move the card just enough so that it lost contact. So you wait for the unit to get up or down to ambient temperature. Click the card out. Then you might want to hold the card between your fingers for just a little bit, just to change the temperature of it. Then you click it back in, and then you start it up again. And that usually does fix it. Usually does. Sounds weird, but it's true. I'm trying to think of anything else that you could do. I don't think so. I think that's... Oh, actually, wait. There is one more. The power connector. Okay. Whether... If it's too hot, then you unplug it and you feel it with your fingers. That if it's really hot, you have to leave it cool down. If it's really cold, then you actually hold it for a little bit with your fingers just to warm it up a few degrees, just for like 10-20 seconds, then plug it back in, turn it on, and even lightly blowing into the port on the back will warm it up a little bit, maybe just enough to reestablish contact, because you're dealing with physical properties of metals that change due to temperature. Because most people leave these things in the car all the time. I do. And temperature does change this, the metals in this, where the power connector is and or where the memory card is. And I think that's it. I think that covers everything. So if you've got a locked up Garmin or something that won't start, hopefully from what you just watched, it will fix yours.